Welcome to KastorCorner.com. I'm your host Khalil here for another toy of the day here on our YouTube channel. So happy that you guys are back for another toy of the day. We're in the 250s, I think. So we're making our way through. Move the microphone out of the way. Working our way through. We're getting there. It's almost September. I can't believe we've gotten this far. You can go to KastorCorner.com for a full gallery of this guy right here. You can check out the Kornercast podcast up on Apple Podcasts. You can check out our merch. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. And so this is one of those cases where I picked it up last night, and here it is today for Toy of the Day. This one was a little bit harder to get. I went to a few comic shops around me in the New Haven area, and both of them had sold out immediately. This is definitely one of the hotter property figures from Diamond Select, the new Marvel Select Titanium Man. And I was disappointed just because it's kind of one of those things where I know stores would order like 3 or 4 Select figures, and both stores I went to had ordered for specific customers, and it was pretty disappointing to walk in. And one of the stores actually was one I had gone to for a very long time. And every time I would order a specialty toy, statue, whatever, I would find it on the shelf. And so it was a really big disappointment, to be like, hey, I don't come here anymore, but now you're going to uphold, that somebody had ordered it. And it just, I don't know. I was aggravated. So I drove around. Saw some family and picked this up at the Toy Vault out in Waterford, Connecticut, and got the big guy. Retail price. They have great deals there too. And so walked right in, grabbed him, grabbed some other stuff that'll be Toy of the Days later. Excuse me. And so let's take a look at this guy. So right off the bat, he is massive. Okay. Titanium Man has been different sizes throughout comic book history. So this does and could fit in with Legends. It is much bigger than, I want to say it's bigger than a Build-A-Figure. I don't have a Build-A-Figure kicking around. But here's Ironmonger, which I have to do Toy of the Day of. And they are essentially the same size for the most part. So that gives you an idea. Standing toe-to-toe, they do look each other in the eye. Titanium Man helmet is a little bit bigger, so you can look at it from that perspective. So he does fit with Iron Man. I think he fits perfectly with Legend scale, and I took pictures with him with the classic Iron Man, and you can see the size difference there. So overall, it's a really great figure. It's pretty simple, as a lot of characters were back then in design. He is all flat metallic green all over. He's got the big, goofy robot smile there, or frown, actually, with the eyes. Mine has a little bit of, looks like dust or something got under when they had painted the mouth. So there's a couple little spots, and I don't think you'll see it. I don't know if you'll notice it in the pictures. It's only really visible to me because the things I look for. But considering how hard he was to come by or get my hands on, I wasn't going to be picky about it, and it really doesn't mess up anything at all. He's got some silver to his boots, so I guess he's green, yellow, black, and silver. I guess technically, size is great, articulation's great. He's got rocker ankles, so it gives you a good deal of being able to pose him out in some good poses. I will warn you, if you move the legs, this plastic skirt here, it's 4 separate pieces. Or 4 cuts. So it's got the side cut, it's got the front and the back cut. So it does allow a lot of movement in the hip area. But I warn you, if you pose him in an action pose like this, and you can get him in this pose standing, he's pretty solid. He doesn't fall over. Ankles are really tight and well. Now you can see how the skirt is kind of splayed out a little bit. Here's the thing. If you're going to keep him static and just have him standing, that skirt does take those ridges and those bumps. So I think over extended periods of time, if you're posing him out in an action pose, just know you might have to heat it a little bit to get it back in a neutral position, or freeze it a little bit to get it back in a neutral position. This thing has thigh cuts, which, hey, McFarlane, we need some thigh cuts on your figures. Mine were frozen in place, and I gave them a little hot water bath and loosened them up, and they popped right out. So no problems, no issues there. Got full articulation there. He does come with alternate hands. So he's got the grabby hands that are not appropriate in today's world. He's got the I'm either going to take over the world or I'm going to grab somebody's hands. And I think they're great additions. It would have been great to have some kind of laser blasts or blast effects for them. I think they would look really good with him like that. Now, so where does it fall apart for me? Or where the not fall apart? Because look, this is probably one of the best figures. I mean, Diamond keeps, and I've said this before, and I've gotten samples before, but I paid for this guy, 100%. So it's not so much fall apart, but where does it miss the mark? So there's two things. The joints. So these things are metallic, painted metallic green. So on his wrist, right here, the wrist peg, and I don't know if I'll be able to show it on camera that well. We'll give it a shot. So that wrist peg, what happens is it is painted green as well. Oh, we lost it. There we go. So you get focused back. There we go. Hi. And so what is happening is the joint spaces here are all dropping, flaking off. So at the wrists, at the elbows, at the heels, all those friction points are losing that paint. It's not a huge deal. The paint, the green underneath is the same green. It just doesn't have a metallic fleck to it. So it doesn't break up the sculpt like we've seen with other things where the paint peels off and then it's a completely different color. It is this color green. It is just not metallic. So that's one thing that you'll notice, that you might see some flakes as you're posing and moving around those joints. But again, not a huge deal. I think that's pretty standard for something like this, and it doesn't really make or break the figure. Where I have a slight issue is it does come with an unmasked head. So this guy comes off, and now you get the unmasked Titanium Man. And now here's where I have a little bit of an issue. It is proportional to the body. Now, what that means is it looks like he's a giant. Because even though Iron Man seems pretty close to scale with a version of this, you can see the heads are completely different sizes. So this head is massive. And it doesn't look like the Ironmonger suit in that somebody is seated inside of it. It looks like these are actually his limbs. So versus with Ironmonger, we know that Obadiah is kind of in the center, but his legs are not in here. His arms are not in there. Where this one with Titanium Man here, from the size of the head, it does look like he is that size. So that's a little bit of a drawback for me, looking at it going, I will probably never use the unmasked head here. It's nice for pictures. I took some pictures. You'll see it. But it doesn't add anything. It looks better, in my opinion, and scales correctly with this head with the helmet on. Now, the other thing is that I noticed is the head is also molded in green. And the green does bleed through the paint, the skin tone paint, at the ears on both sides and at his chin. So you will notice that for it, that he almost looks like he's Bruce Banner turning into the Hulk. And again, I don't know if I'll be able to show you that, but there is a little bit of, yeah, you can see a little bit there. It does bleed through just a little bit, so there you go. But it's a really well sculpted head. Don't get me wrong on that. It is a well sculpted head. So this guy is about $30 at your local comic shop if you can get it. I know Mike's Toys and stuff got him this week. Big Bad is supposed to be getting him later this month or next month. With figures like this, I'm hoping they do a second run like they're doing with the Immortal Hulk, because I missed out on the Immortal Hulk and I really want the Immortal Hulk. And I can't find the Immortal Hulk, so I'm hoping that a second run of him will occur for those of you that want it. But this is definitely scaled for Legends. From some of the artwork I've seen from like this period of time matched up with this early on 80th Iron Man. So Iron Man in this costume and fighting Titanium Man, it does match up. So it's definitely worth tracking down. And again, I'm telling you, the articulation and the sculpts for these, Diamond has really stepped up its game. And it's an amazing figure. So go check it out. You can check out a full gallery of this guy, masked and unmasked, up on castorscorner.com. You can follow us. We are at Kastor's Corner on all social media. Check out the Cornercast podcast up on Apple Podcasts. Check out our t-shirt store on TeePublic. All the links are below. And hit the subscribe button. The more of you that subscribe, the more cool things we get to do, and then we get to share them with you. And really, that's just been the most fun part of this. And sharing this. And I've got some stories to share coming up that I'm looking forward to, and I've been saving. So hopefully I'll be able to share those. So yeah, so Titanium Man, Marvel Select from Diamond Select Toys. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow for another Toy of the Day here on castorscorner.com. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.